Dude, how do you want to address like this being the last one? Do you want to just like chuck it out in the open, or
I think I mate 100%. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to title it as like the finale.
Yeah, the finale,
The grand finale.
the big Randy discussion.
Yeah,
50 minutes.
Yeah, 50
of
minutes
all
of what we
his
really
issues.
think about Randy.
Interesting things said by uninteresting people. You're hosted by Ben and Tom. Interesting things said by uninteresting people.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Interesting Things Said by Uninteresting People, a show where we talk about interesting things so that you don't even have to worry about it. And my name's Ben, and for the final time, I'm joined by the far more luxurious half of the podcast, Tom.
Hello, for the final time.
How are
This
you?
is the final time I'll also be speaking to Ben ever.
Yeah, this is it, mate. So
Yeah,
get
this
it
is
in.
it.
Yeah.
Get everything out in the open. Yeah, man, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I think I'm recovered from various illness woes and all the rest of it.
Dude, you
But
must be like generally tired as well. You're a dad now
With
all
the
that
kid.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to dive straight into it, mate, but yeah, that's probably why I feel so rough. Like it's been, I know you've had the official illness. Like, I mean, we were saying literally just before we hit record about both. Well, you have had COVID.
I've done the COVID. I've done it. I've been there, done that. Got the t-shirt and all that.
I've probably had COVID with no positive tests, but either that or a horrible cold. But the trouble is with having a baby as well. It's her first time being ill. So she can't breathe through her nose, so she's crying in the night, and it means that she's not sleeping, which means that we're not sleeping, which means that I'm not getting any better, which means that and also, oh man, when I'm ill, I snore like a pig. So it means that I'm keeping everyone else awake. So there's just zero sleep. There's zero sleep.
Dude, that is the loudest house on the block.
I can't lie, man. I don't want to over-egg it. It has been horrible. Absolutely horrible. But whatever, I'm still here, and it's like it could be worse, couldn't it? It could be worse.
Yeah.
What was your experience of your actual COVID? Like
of my government-sanctioned COVID? It was like it's I don't want to say it didn't suck because it did suck. The first 2 days were rough. Like very very much like imagine a hangover that's just very bad. Like I would consider that the first day particular, I just couldn't really, I was just on the sofa and just kind of going, when you're like sick and you just kind of let out that kind of, I don't know, I kind of make that noise a lot.
Whether
just
ill or not.
sofa, like, do you want something, like, and Kelly, like, do you want a cup of tea? And all I answering is just like grunts, like, yes.
Man.
But no, honestly, the first day was the worst. Second day was also quite bad. Fever and chills in the night. The full symptom range.
Yeah.
And then
I was
honestly,
expecting you to say like first day was bad, second day was horrible, third day even worse.
No. Luckily, I just kind of got better. I tend to lose my voice when I get sick. So, and obviously because now I work for myself, it also meant while I was sick, I was earning £0. So I carried on doing. I made a video and put it out, and my voice is basically gone in that video. I think I pinned a comment and just said, if I sound sick, it's because I got COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, other than that, it wasn't too bad. Like those 2 days sucked. The rest of the time, which was about 7 days worth, I think I got it, was just like a very regular cold. It's just those first two. I can see why. For old people or at-risk people, those first 2 days might be really dangerous.
Yeah.
But
It's scary, dude. I mean, my dad had it, and his wife, as well, my stepmom, had it, and they kind of got through it all right to the point where they're almost joking about it. They call it like man flu and all the rest of it. But
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, dude, they've come out the other side. But I mean, he's not an old man, but he's an older gent. So there was a little bit of me that thinks, okay, let's just make sure that you are all right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think sadly most people will probably end up getting it at some point.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of lucky it wasn't so bad in the end. It just sucked not being able to get out of the house. I know you're allowed to now if you're listening from outside the UK, then
Your area may vary.
Yeah, here in the UK, you can basically do whatever you like. Even if you've got COVID, you can go to work and all that sort of stuff. I didn't. I thought the least I could do is stay at home. Especially when I actually had it. So
sure, absolutely.
So I didn't go anywhere.
The thing is, mate, that'll be the next thing. Is that it'll be, oh, you've got COVID. Oh, you can just have a day off work for the COVID, and then you'll be in tomorrow. Yeah, you'll be in next day. Yeah.
You'll be in tomorrow to infect the office. Yeah, is that right?
I mean, the ironic thing, mate, is that just before we got sick, we had a party booked to go to. On the weekend before. It was a friend's 40th birthday and his 10th wedding anniversary at the same kind of do. You know, they're having a big party for both. And they were having, lots of people there and like live music and a buffet, which, we started to look at it. I mean, Claire and I sort of had a conversation the night before. We were like, are we being idiots here by going to this? Because this was right when in the UK they were saying, 1 in 10 of us has actively got COVID. And we suddenly had that waking up moment of like, oh my God, like, what are we doing? Like, we're signed up to go to this big event, with a good number of people. He's a popular guy, there's a big number of people there. It's like, what are we doing? And then obviously with the kid as well, with babies too, I think it's the most recent time when we've kind of woken up again to the fact that COVID is still around and kind of had to make a decision based on it,
Yeah, dude, especially with all the Ukraine stuff going on, it's like old news now. Like it's very rare I see anything crop up about COVID, but it hasn't gone away. It's still kicking about. Dude, I have gotten really relaxed though with masks and stuff because I don't wear one in shops anymore, but when I go into the supermarket, I generally wear one because it's like the big place. But recently I've forgotten, and then I haven't had one in my coat pocket, so I've just been going in and out all willy nilly. And sometimes I come out, I'm like, shit, I should have remembered.
Mate, it's I don't blame you, mate. It's easy to
get really relaxed about it now.
To it.
Yeah,
especially, I mean, like you say, dude, it's kind of gone so far off the boil that it's almost like it is a non-issue now.
Yeah.
And I think when we were talking about before, I think you made a really interesting point about the vaccines. Like part of the whole, I was going to say propaganda. Then no, we've gone full.
Careful, Ben. We've gone full right wing.
Right wing, yeah. No, not but the whole marketing of getting people vaccinated. If they were more honest and said, "Hey, you're probably still going to get this, and it might still make you sick, but it'll be a lot less sick." And I know that is some of the messaging now, but it wasn't early on.
No, definitely not.
It's opened the doorway for people to go, "Oh, well, I got it anyway."
Yeah, which is
worthless.
The camp I'm in now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dude, and I was recently boosted as well. I think I was boosted in February and picked it up in March. So it's like, I still think
the point, What's the point on these bloody vaccines?
My freedoms have been infringed, etc. No, I was saying to you earlier, I kind of feel like maybe it should be called a jab rather than a vaccine because, I don't know, maybe does a vaccine stop you from getting it completely, like polio and...
Oh, man, you'd hope.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go too far into it. I just think it's a shame that I've had 3 injections and still got it. So.
And still managed to come down with it. Mate, it's that immune system of yours, dude. It's just some of us are just weaker than others,
Yeah, man. Mate, if anything now, I should be ultra resistant.
You'd think, yeah, you'd hope
think so. I've probably got it again somehow.
Oh man, like I don't want to be that guy, but I in a way I do hope that is what we had. Like I say, we're constantly getting negative tests through being ill, but then you remember stuff about those LFTs not picking up COVID for people who have definitely got it. So there'll always be that question mark for me, thinking, was it? It probably in a way, hopefully it was, because then the baby had it and we've had it and we've all come out the other side and we're all fine,
Mate, all I will say is when I did have it, my lateral flows were flagging very quickly. Like, I would say maybe the day after I tested positive, that red line was fast and thick.
Yeah,
like
sure,
it was like,
sure.
He's got it, and it was every single one, pretty much.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, mate, it's like a big fucking red felt tip. Like, he's got it.
Oh, mate, you never know, mate. Maybe I was just down with a cold. But then you think, well, great, because we've all been keeping ourselves so healthy and keeping ourselves, so sanitized.
I think it could be just like colds and regular colds and stuff are just hitting so much harder now because we've been so careful, because it's like wear a mask, wash your hands, all that sort of thing. Yeah, and you get a regular cold and it's like, holy crap, it's really knocked me on my ass.
I thought we were done with this. Your body's kind of thinking we were past that age, where we got ill.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh no, dude, I hear you, man. Dude, we should talk about like other news. So as we hinted at, I'm doing hand motions here to like enhance. You never see them.
It's good for me.
To enhance the drama of this. As we kind of dropped in at the start of the episode, this is the final farewell to ITSBUP.
It is. It's the big farewell tour.
Is this episode 52? I think I don't actually remember. Is it still 53?
When did we start? Is that possible to see, or do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know off the top of my head. Hang on, I'll tell you what, I might be able to find out, actually, if you give me 1 second. Let's have a look. Let's talk about interesting things while Ben does this. Oh, mate, end of 2016.
End of 2016? Oh, because it was around when Trump came in.
Yeah, dude, that's actually... Yeah, wow, that's wild, man. That's actually wild.
5 years ago. Nearly 6.
5.5.
Yeah.
And this is officially, well, episode 53 was like a best of. So this is maybe episode 54, considering it was supposed to be only ever be 6.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good run.
Mate, it's funny. I just scroll back on the YouTube, and one of episode 7 is that fidget cube I got you from Hong Kong.
Oh yeah. Oh man, we should have prepared like a list of favourite moments, but that would have involved being organised, and that goes against the very ethos of this podcast, I think. But yeah, dude. So yeah, it's farewell. ITSBUP. It's not. Have we fallen out? Have we fallen out?
I would say there's been a large falling out.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you did, but we've talked about that, and
I'll do it again. No, well, Ben, do you want to? I don't know. Do you want to say why? Like, do we want to get into the whys?
I think it's a why that is best described by way of contrast, Tom. I haven't thought this through at all, so I'm thinking on my feet here. It's by way of contrast, because if we compare it to what we said, why we wanted to do the podcast in the first place, it was to see if we could, to have a bit of a project to work on that would not interfere with regular life at all.
That's the one.
And I think we even said back in those 5.5 years ago, so if it ever gets to the point where it was a ball ache to do, then we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
A ball ache is probably a strong word at this point, but
it is. It's a minor inconvenience at best.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just run its course, hasn't it? I mean, because I think we both have very different lives now than we did 5.5 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I think we were saying that I've literally lost my train of thought.
That's okay. That's all right.
No, okay. I remember what I was going to say. Is like we were trying to be, probably about maybe a year ago, we were trying to be really consistent, like one every 2 weeks, like kind of no excuses sort of thing, which sounds easy enough. If we can get together for like 2 hours once every 2 weeks, that shouldn't be too difficult. And we ended up finding that quite difficult. Yeah. And then it just kind of, when, it was 6 months between the episode, this one and the last like real one. I say real. So it's a fair old whack, that is. And if we, I kind of said to you, Ben, because I'll hold my hands up. I was the one that said that maybe we should pull the plug.
That's it. Well, mate, and I think not to draw behind the curtain here too much, but I think I said to you at the time, like, I think we're both on exactly the same page here.
Yeah,
one of us was the one to say it, but just to reassure you on air as well. Like, I think we're both very much in the same place with this.
Definitely. So it was kind of like, if we can't be consistent, then it's not fair on us or on any of you 5 listening.
Yeah, Randy, exactly. Well, that's
Randy,
it.
Jared, Dave.
Yeah. Randy, get in. Dude, it's never been put off for no reason, if that makes sense. Like, it's always been put off because there's other stuff going on. And I think that's probably poetic. It's probably more poetic than just saying, we don't want to do it anymore.
I would say that's probably a good enough reason. That's kind of why, isn't it? There's some other stuff I kind of chatted about, like, in terms of like online presence and stuff, but to be honest, the real reason is we just can't be consistent anymore.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Well, that's exactly, and it's a shame as it is. I mean, there are things about calling it a day that are a shame because, I mean, to be real, we've had triple digit listeners, but that's in the world of podcasting, mate. That's a drop in the ocean, But so it's not like we're going to be letting down massive swathes of the world by saying, oh yeah, this is the last one. But at the same time, man, do you know what has been really nice? And it is only small things, but it's been really nice to like meet friends in real life. And they said, oh yeah, no, I really enjoy listening to that. So it's like there are people out there who might be like, oh, that's a shame. And I think that's about as bad as it's going to get. But yeah, man, I think we've done something pretty good over the last few years.
Yeah, dude, and do you know what's going to be nice is, like, I think I said this to you when we talked about it face to face, not over Zoom. I said it'd be nice to like have something that's kind of complete and put on the shelf, because in terms of what I do in YouTube and that, it's just a never-ending pit of stuff. You just keep making, keep going. So it'd be nice to like put it on the shelf. There's 54 episodes, and that's the start to finish, and that's like done.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, do you feel like we've got better at it?
I reckon so. I would, because I've one of the reasons I picked up this Pod Mic Pro from Rode is I was invited to go on a few podcasts, not to join, just to say hello, and it's definitely helped because it makes it way less awkward, and it's so easy. It's so much easier now to like keep a conversation going. Like, yeah, sure. Because talking on a podcast compared to talking in real life is different. Yeah, I wouldn't 100%. Talk to you like this normally. It's a bit. Because you're almost talking as if someone else is listening, which is obviously the idea. Yeah, sure. No, I know what you mean. There is always that element of like, let's present this, I suppose. Yeah. It's almost like you have to give context, a little bit of context over everything. Yeah. So like, I think it definitely helps. Because even things like client calls and stuff. It's just it's just made it easier. Yeah. I mean, I know this is part of when we talked about this, like you say, in real life. I feel like just in terms of having a conversation, this is going to sound really weird and analytical, but that isn't, if this podcast has not even been anything else, it's weird and analytical about things that don't matter. You do it. But just in terms of talking to other people, you learn really quickly. I mean, I haven't, and I probably won't listen back to like the first couple of episodes, but you learn really quickly when you're talking over someone. Yeah. And like you learn really quickly when you're derailing the conversation. I know we do all the time. I know there's a certain amount of that anyway. Yeah, of course. But you start to hear it really obvious if someone's saying, oh, I went off and did this the other day, and they go, oh yeah, me too, I did. And then suddenly you're talking about something completely different. Man, I totally get that. Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one, genuinely. No. Mate, I think Zoom in general, sorry, I've literally just done it. Sure. Literally Zoom, I think Zoom in general has helped with that because there is that slight delay and you're very conscious of talking over people. So that's probably added to the mix. On the one hand, I think you're right. But on the other hand, I think, I think what we talked about, like when we got together is really true. Like there's a lot of truth in it, just in terms of, I do notice it in conversations I have with other people now. And I kind of can't unnotice it. And it makes me sound like a real pretentious asshole. And like, genuinely, I know. No. But no, whatever. But when we say that the conversations we have in real life are better for doing this, I think. Yeah. For example. And so I notice, like, I notice how many conversations that I have where we'll talk about something. And I don't know, man, I sound like a really old man, but because this is maybe a wider issue than just podcasting and a silly little podcast, but like people, I think the attention span in conversations has gone now. You know, and this sounds like a really big thing. Like I'm really angry and bitter about this, but genuinely, man, I've thought about it a bit. Like, I'm having more and more conversations where it isn't of any depth, and you like, I think like we talked about, you talk about a movie and say, oh, but what did you think of this last scene when we went to see this movie? Oh yeah, it was all right. Yeah. I think, like you don't need to have an opinion about this, but let's talk. Like let's keep going. Mate, I think that's that's just how the world is now. I mean, the instant gratification of TikTok and and phones and all that sort of stuff. It's just bleeding out everywhere. Sure. Like the attention span of people now is so low. Yeah. It's crazy. Like the on YouTube analytics, you can see the viewer when they drop off, within the first 3 minutes, 60% of the audience is gone.
Wow, yeah.
regardless of how decent your content is and who you are.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Which
That's
is why
mad,
TikTok's got
isn't it?
such high, like, views and all that sort of thing. It's because it's so small.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Which is
just
nuts.
man, that's wild, isn't it? Just in terms of brain chemistry, it's just firing off like, oh, here's something new.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as
it's
soon as that goes, like, oh no, now here's something else new.
Yeah, it's literally hacked our
Yeah.
brain for that dopamine hit.
Oh man, but is that that's probably inevitable though, isn't it? Like it's just, I mean,
yeah.
we just keep making things more and more, I don't want to say better and better, but more and more like economical, more and more efficient.
Yeah,
To
definitely.
get us to do what they want us to do, what they want us to do.
The man.
Hey, speaking of, not to get dragged away, because we'll probably talk more, I guess, towards the end about saying goodbye, I guess.
I'm going to sneeze. You go. Keep
Is
going.
that going? Okay, no, we want to hear it, Tom. We want to hear it.
Oh, I've got stage fright now. I can't do it.
Ah, okay. Tune in later. Come back later for more
Literally in
sneeze.
2 minutes, everyone's eardrums are going to explode while I really let... No, it's literally gone. Right. Sorry. Carry on.
No. I was just thinking about social media, because this is one of the things we had Dan to talk about, because we wanted to say goodbye in an official capacity to the ex. Did we reinstate him as patron saint of the podcast?
I think he never left. Or did he leave? Did he get fired?
I think this is a testament to how long this podcast has been going, because he was in our good graces, then he disgraced himself, and then did he come back?
Dude, it's like any good. Everyone loves a comeback story, so maybe this is his.
Oh man, Elon Musk, ex patron saint, possible still patron saint of ITSBUP podcast.
Yeah,
it's been a wild ride, mate. But yeah, he's trying to buy Twitter.
Yeah, which is like nuts. But from what I've seen, he's trying to buy it on the pretense of like a free speech sort of platform.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. It's weird because I always think like, not that we ever try and get too political on this show, because we don't, but Elon Musk seems to really like dance the line between like left and right. Like sometimes he'll tweet things that are very like, we should stop using all coal and just literally smash on with renewable. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, free speech must be respected. I'm going to buy Twitter so anyone can tweet what they want. I don't know. I don't know where he stands sometimes.
I think Elon Musk stands for Elon Musk. Honestly, I think that's what it comes down to.
I think you're right.
Which is maybe, I don't know, is that good or bad? Because I mean, on the one hand, it shows that everyone's got a bit of left and a bit of right in them. But on the other hand,
which is true.
Yeah, you've got to have a bit of compassion for other people. Like it isn't all about what one person wants. You have to have the ability to go, okay, this isn't exactly what I want, but I see that it's the best thing.
But it's so American. Like he's like, well, if I can't have what I want, I'll buy my way there.
I'll buy the newspaper.
Yeah, literally. But like also there's like how I can't find the right words for it. The fact that he has enough clout to be like, he did it through a Twitter poll, right? He just did a poll and said, do you think Twitter has lost its free speechness sort of thing? And he's like, and then he commented underneath saying that the results of this poll will mean a lot. And it turns out they do. But dude, I was also going to say, like, it feels like the most American thing because it's like, freedom of speech is like a big thing. They talk about that a lot. And, a lot of countries have got it, which is good. But also, America is like kind of land of the product. So, and if, you build something, you say what happens. And if Twitter have decided you can't say that, then too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true enough, man. That's true enough.
I don't know. Is there conflict there?
It's back to the eternal debate though, isn't it? Because it's like, I kind of think, maybe I'll feel differently like about this on a different day, but at the end of the day, yeah, Twitter is a product, and it's not an open marketplace. It's not. People say, "Oh, it's not. It's an open forum. I should be able to say what I want." It's like, well, it isn't an open forum.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
you're using Twitter's platform, and if they say, you know what, we don't want racists on it, or at least we don't want, we don't want people spouting off racist comments, for example. Then, man, I kind of feel like it is okay. But then you go, well, what happens? It's difficult because Twitter is so
what's right
big.
And wrong.
Yeah, it's so big that it does start to affect policy, real world stuff.
It's almost like a service, isn't it? I guess like Facebook is probably considered a service, like the internet and all that sort of thing. But then you couldn't just run into a restaurant, stand on the table, and start shouting anything you like. No. You get thrown out. So
Yeah.
Sometimes I think of Twitter in that sort of sphere. Like, if you're going to be a dick, you're going to get shoved out.
Dude, just in terms of politics and things, Caroline Cardwala's got that TED talk where she's talking about how elections in the future will never be the same again because we don't have like a genuine neutral town square anymore. You know, there isn't a place where you can just go and just talk freely. And you know, sure, if you're saying things that no one wants to hear, then you'll get kicked in or booted out, you know, in medieval style. But nowadays, everything on the internet is owned by someone. You know, there aren't any actual free spaces on the internet anymore. And that is going to shape what we think in real life.
Most of these like internet spaces are made by people who are very much left-leaning. Like, you know, Silicon Valley is very much on that left-hand side.
But dude, until they get told what to do, until they get regulated, that's where Elon rears his head. You know, because he got stopped from building factories in various different places that he wanted to build them. You know, he gets stopped from doing things that he just feels he should be able to do because he's obviously right. You know, it's that mentality that kind of grates with me. The attitude of, well, I know what I'm doing. I can do this. I've had success in so many different areas that of course I can do this.
Yeah, dude, it's like he's got cheat modes on GTA. Like,
yeah, sure.
You know, that's how I kind of think all billionaires kind of live on that kind of weird level where it's like, well, I can kind of do what I want. So and when the people say no, it's like, well, that's not fair. And here's all the policy and I'm going to change things. And I think he end up moving loads of stuff to Texas.
Yeah.
Rather than California.
Oh, dude, there's loads of tech businesses moving to Texas as well. Yeah, not I don't know too much, but I know you hear it a lot of businesses moving out to Austin way. And
crazy, isn't it?
I forget where I heard this, so I'm shamelessly parroting this from somewhere. Somewhere I've listened to it. Someone said the best thing that would happen to Elon Musk is that you cut his hands off.
Right.
I don't know. It's figurative. I mean, I know there'd probably be ways, right? But it's like all he needs to do is not be able to do anything and just talk, because then you can listen to him. You know, you can listen to him and say, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." Out of the 10 bad ideas, that's actually a good idea. But just don't let him do anything.
It's funny because I still like, you know, I follow him on Twitter and all that sort of stuff. I kind of feel like he's one of the most real. Of all the billionaires out there, like you feel like you could actually have a sit down conversation with him. Like, sure, I know posting memes and stuff is an easy way to get to the younger generation's heart, but it does work. And it's like things like that where he just says something funny or he'll like do something which seems regular is such a nice change from like, I don't know, let's say Bill Gates' Twitter, which is very, very probably not run by him. Probably
very corporate.
Very corporate. And you don't really get anything from it. You know, it's like an old president's account. It's like, we're so happy to be here and celebrating this. It's like, you know, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
That was, mate, I must have heard this on a podcast, on a different, better podcast than this one. Someone was saying that they had a friend who knew Elon Musk. And they were saying that at parties, they spend half the night trying to get his phone off him, going, do not tweet that. Do not write that. Really? Do not do that. Yeah.
It must be some weird, funny power trip, though. Like, you know, after you've had a few pints, it's like, I'm going to tweet this and just see what happens.
And see exactly. Yeah. Just mess with the world.
Because it would be funny. I could imagine that being hilarious. Well, not hilarious, but like, let's see how many headlines I can get in just by saying this.
Just wielding that power, man. I mean, because also it's like, it is a lot of insider trading as well. When they're talking about this is the problem with him trying to buy Twitter, because he obviously has quite a chunky stake in Twitter now.
Yeah.
I think he's about 9% and a bit that he owns.
Yeah, which is a huge amount.
But the thing is, he can absolutely influence Twitter's share price.
Yeah.
You know, he can. He knows he can. You know, Elon Musk could influence the share price of most companies, like he did with Dogecoin as well.
Yeah, and all the cryptocurrencies, like one or two tweets, and it can make it fly up or fly down.
Yeah, that's wild, man. That's absolutely mental.
Yeah, because he could literally just tweet Bitcoin is the future, and then it would just fly up.
And it massively. Would be. Yeah,
it would. Yeah, dude, that's a lot of power in a tweet.
Yeah. Oh well. So I guess farewell, Elon Musk.
Farewell. Thanks for
the
high times, the low times, the in between times.
So where does he land? He's like just parallel saint. He's not patron
saint. I don't know,
saint.
man. I'd give him like 7 out of 10. No, maybe 6.5. Because he did go pretty low.
Yeah, he called that guy a paedophile when he wasn't. That's pretty low.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
6.4.
6.4. Yeah, come on, 6.3.
Mate, I think we watched this a little while ago. See, I'm done with the nice segues now as well. I've mentally checked out. I'm just like smash cut. What do you want to talk about next, Tom? I know we watched The Batman a little while ago.
We did. But
it's very well. I don't know, as is true to our reasons for wrapping this podcast up. We've tried to record this for the last couple of weeks until we got ill. Selfish. Yeah. But so I still think it's worth talking about.
I think it is because I loved it.
Yeah. So I mean, do you want to start?
I'd find it like a lot of people when I said I'd seen it, they're like, oh, what's it like compared to Christopher Nolan films? And like the only thing I could think of like comparing it to is like they both have Batman in, and that's kind of where the similarities end because they're so different. I really liked it. I thought it's probably one of the most beautifully shot films I've ever seen in my life. Like it was just looked incredible start to finish. Literally just looked stunning. I thought Robert Pattinson was a great Batman, very moody.
Me too. And I wasn't one of the disbelievers or the non-believers.
No, me either.
His history, he's got a fine acting history. It just includes Twilight.
Yeah.
That's definitely the problem, isn't it? That's the problem that people have with this.
I think the thing I liked about it as well is like it obviously shows. I think it says it's like year 2 of him being Batman, so he's still relatively new to it. But it felt a bit more grounded. Like he's just going around on a motorbike. The bat suit's in his backpack, from what I can tell. Like there's no like crazy. He's not going around in like a helicopter or anything like that. All the villains. The villain seems quite realistic to a point. There's not millions on the line. It's just a few people here, there, and it's like. I thought the riddles were actually quite good. I quite enjoyed the riddles.
Yes, mate. Yeah.
I thought they were awesome. It was just such a good film. It was long. I would potentially say the ending sequence with, I don't want to get into spoilers, but there's a larger sort of bomb threat, which potentially felt a bit like, I don't know, compared to what the film was doing before, it was potentially a bit much, but...
Considering how, I get it from terms of storyline, but obviously the Riddler is the main villain in this. Yeah. And considering how that story arc went, I know what you mean, the last sequence, the last kind of big bit does feel a bit tacked on. I mean,
it felt like they had to.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically from when... because, I think you see this in the trailers as well, so this isn't really a spoiler, but from the point where the Riddler gets captured, from there onwards, felt poorer. It felt more standard. That's probably
it felt more Hollywood, big explosions, lots of people to save, let's go sort of thing. Whereas all before then it was very gritty and grounded and that sort of thing. I think Batman leans into the gritty, grounded thing. I know it's been done to death, but it just works for him.
I think so, man. But you know what? I think it skirted the line between being grounded and being more fantastical really well, because I'm actively having to think about it to realise that it wasn't supernatural, if you know what I mean. It wasn't fantasy, because you think, oh wait, no, it was all really, but because the characters were so comic booky,
definitely. Especially the villains.
Exactly. It feels if there'd have been something in there that was a bit magic, I'd have gone, oh yeah, that fits.
Yeah,
that's
you
fine.
Probably wouldn't have. Yeah, definitely. I thought, mate, they did similar to the Joker film. They made Gotham look like a real fucking dump. I like that. It looks like, why would you bother trying to save this place? It's such a shithole. It looked like a shithole.
Is most of it? I can't. There's one scene I can think of that's shot in the daytime when he goes to the funeral.
Yes,
I think that's in the daytime. Most of it's in the nighttime.
Yeah,
so it just feels like this nightmare, like you're literally in a nightmare, just wandering around in this dark streets.
Yeah, and the fight scenes I thought were great in the club as well. Like he hits a lot harder than any other Batman.
Yeah, it's a lot more visceral, isn't it? It's a lot more like, I'm just going to clout you.
Yeah, I think that towards the end he has to, Jim Gordon pulls him off someone because he's about to just kill him.
Well, he's taken the magic juice, mate.
Yeah,
he's taken the magic juice. He's skirting on the old.
I kind of assumed that was just like a adrenaline jab or something. But he gets knocked out, doesn't he? Put some juice in him and he's all good again.
Yeah,
healing potion.
I mean, you never know, mate, because it was bright green. That was the bit where I was thinking, oh, that could be like a Bane juice.
Oh, like a venom sort of.
Yeah, like a venom. Yeah.
Maybe it was.
Who knows? Who knows? That might be like a little call forward to something that's going to... who knows? Probably not.
Yeah.
It's probably just a green glowing Deus Ex Machina to get him on his feet again.
It definitely earned the 15 certificate, and I was happy to see that it had that, and they hadn't dumbed it down so it's a 12A. You know, because they could have easily taken out quite a few scenes and made it
a
12A. But the Riddler, you know, had those like saw-like traps, you know, like people's heads in horrible vices and stuff, and the rat thing was gross.
He felt like a really unhinged,
he was great.
Real psycho, especially the conversation he has with Batman after he's been caught. Again, without getting too spoiler heavy here, but when he's sort of saying, "Oh, you know, we did it. You know, me and you, we're mates. You know, I see us as being on the same side." The fact he's so unhinged, man. And Paul Dano looks like a real rotter as well. Like,
he does, man.
He looks so weird.
He's
such a weird face. It looks like he's been stung by a few bees, and they never quite got over it.
When they unmasked him, or when he showed without his mask on, I was like, "Oh my god, he's got like a weird baby face," but in a way that makes it even more scary.
Yeah.
Because he seems so like mild, and well mannered or something, but he's just creepy. His house lunatic. Was great as well when they went to his house, and it's just full of, you know, codes and ciphers and all that sort of thing. No, I really loved it.
Dude, you are absolutely right about the riddles being just the right level as well, because like. In history, they've either been super easy, like video game easy, where you can't make the riddles hard; they have to be accessible. Or they've been nonsense, like, you know, Batman from the '60s, when the riddles just made zero sense.
Ridiculous, yeah.
You know, it's like, this adds up to a mighty riddle, the Riddler. You know?
The only thing I didn't like about it massively, I guess, is Jim Gordon felt a bit dumb, because he'd say the riddle and he'd be like, "What do you think that means?" And then Batman says it like instantly. It's I'm sure he's smarter than that.
Dude, again, man, this is from another podcast that I listened to about the Batman. They were saying they had this idea that Jim Gordon's doing it on purpose.
So really?
He's like saying, "I've got an idea, but I want to hear what you think about this." Like, I can't, like, almost in some scenes and with some bits, almost like from a police having his hands tied point of view. Like, sure would be horrible if this happened to that villain. Batman's like, "I'm on it."
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean. He does feel a bit of a comic, like a clown in some scenes, you know?
Yeah, no. But yeah, honestly, man, I thought it was great. It's so hard to compare to the other ones. It's just a very different film. Like, you know, The Dark Knight with the Joker and Heath Ledger is almost impossible to top. And I don't think they tried that. I think it's so different.
Yeah.
Do you
think this is the kind of universe where he could sort of join other? I know. You know, we shouldn't have our one eye on like multiple franchises and what have you. But is this the kind of Batman who could join like a bigger film, like a Justice League film or that sort of thing?
I hope not, because I think they've been there and they tried it and it didn't really work.
Yeah,
and I don't think whenever Batman meets Superman, for me it always feels really they're such different worlds.
Yeah,
like I can see why people really like that. You know, it's like the regular guy with a crazy overpowered man, but especially with this film, I can't see a Superman being in it. I think it's too crazy.
Yeah,
I hope they just go with him, like maybe 3 films, or maybe no more. It doesn't need a sequel. It ends quite nicely.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't want to see. I don't even want to see a Robin. I think he's too young. I'd like to see him mature a bit and maybe be a bit more playboy-y as Bruce Wayne, because he was a miserable Bruce Wayne.
Not just an absolute loner,
Yeah, he was just Batman without his suit on.
Yeah.
Which is maybe what they were going for, because they pulled it off. You know, he was proper miserable.
Yeah. Just really want to see Robert Pattinson really miserable throughout the 3 hours.
So maybe it'd be nice to see, a bit more Bruce Wayne trying to influence more things with his wealth rather than just being Batman. But yeah, man,
I mean, it's interesting when you're talking about him not really like blending in. A long time ago, this was painted as being like a boy-girl divide, which I'm not 100% sure that's true anymore. Anyway, but the idea that some people prefer Superman because he's just brilliant. He's just, well, why wouldn't you? You know, he's amazing. He's strong. He's kind. He's always morally good. You know, most of the time. So you prefer him for that. But then other people prefer Batman because he has to work for it. Like he's relying on himself. Like he isn't superpowered. You know, he can't fly. He's not. It's his own wits. You know, he's worked and he's built this, and he's always prepared, and he's really working his ass off to get it done.
Definitely.
So I feel like that's why Batman tends to work better when it is more grounded, because you know, and it is more realistic because it doesn't betray that aspect of the character that people identify with. Definitely. So maybe we'll never get a Batman that properly works with
maybe not.
like a wider DC world, you know?
Yeah.
Even though he's one of the biggest characters in it.
Yeah, he is like he's the most famous, isn't he? If you ask people superhero, you'd probably say Batman, or you'd probably go Batman being number one. But I think it's also good because it's like it lets him be really morally grey with what he's doing.
Yeah, sure.
Because like every Superman will always try and do the best thing, but like Batman might do something horrible to further something else and work in that grey area where things aren't always, and that works. You know, Gotham's a shithole.
And you see, it's a shame, man, because not to come back to it, but that's why the two characters work quite well when they're together. I feel like sometimes
you're right.
Because it is those two different approaches. It's like the idea of, well, no, I can just do the right thing. Being, you know, with Superman saying, "Oh, it's easy to do the right thing," and Batman going, "Yeah, it's easy when you're indestructible, and you can just wipe everyone out with a finger if you needed to." Yeah, I don't know, man. It would be good if we could get a movie like that one day, but who knows? I'm not.
We never know.
Yeah, I'm not convinced it's going to happen. Mate, I think Batman All Round. Go and see it if you haven't seen it. We went to go and see it. I've got to give a shout out to a cinema near us in a town called Ilfracombe, which I'd never been to before. It's an experience. It's a very different cinema experience to what I've had before, but it is lovely. It's
cool.
It's a smaller cinema. It feels more vintage, I want to say. I mean, they have got. I'm just going to go on a rant about this random town cinema that's near us, but they have got a new screen that is the most deluxe, posh, luxurious place you can go and watch a movie for sure. But the rest of the cinema is older, you know. So it's a more of an old school kind of
like
the long rectangular.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, the long rectangular cinema halls, you know, where you're all sort of sat in lines, but you can see, but it's not like the big amphitheater style.
Sure.
It's like a long corridor kind of thing. Yeah, no, dude, it's very cool. We had a really good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice bags of popcorn, you know.
I know it's potentially too late now, but Batman at the cinema, it was definitely worth seeing on that big screen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
especially like the kind of car chase sequence. I know people say that a lot, but like that one in particular was mental on the big screen. You really felt like you were there. It was like, holy crap.
Yeah. Man, we haven't even talked about Colin Farrell.
Yeah, he was great too. Unrecognisable.
Absolutely unrecognisable.
Yeah. No, he was cool. He was great.
Oh, I think if we've either convinced people to go and watch it or we haven't, you should go and watch it.
You should go watch it.
It's good.
Download it.
Do you think would you watch it at home?
Yeah, I think I would.
Would you watch it again? I mean, at home. Would you watch it a second time at home?
Yeah, definitely. We're very keen to. I almost went to cinema twice, but because it's such a long film, it was harder to just like, I'll just go this evening sort of thing.
You can't go on a whim, yeah, sure.
No, it's a sit in and nestle in sort of film.
Yeah.
No, I'll definitely watch it again. It's even though those, like I say, Christopher Nolan films are absolutely fantastic, I think this is the one I like the most purely because it just looks so incredible.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
It's awesome. Yeah, go and see it.
We should throw in some tech talk as well.
Let's do it.
How's that new Mac working out for you?
So I bought a new Mac, the Mac Studio, the M1 Max variant and all that sort of thing. It's like I don't know if you've ever seen a Mac Mini, but it's like a Mac Mini just put on big steroids. It's like it's beefed out, it's bulked up. It's a real thick, chunky boy. It's been really great. I don't want to chew people's ear after this because I'm not sure how interested people are in computer stuff, but it's been really awesome.
Now's the time.
Now's the time. Just go all out. It's been awesome. Like the performance of it is like crazy. I don't know. The thing is, it's hard to explain in some ways because like, you know how like a phone will just open an app, you know, it's that very quick sort of instant sort of feeling. That's what that Mac is like for everyday apps. So you open the internet and it's like, it's there, you know, whatever you're trying to do is very quick, very rapid. Like the single core scores for the CPU are insane. Like they're really high and it really does feel that way. So yeah, it's been epic. The only thing that's not so good at the moment for me is Premiere Pro, which is what I use to edit video. Is like it's a garbage file on there at the moment, which sucks.
Really? See, that's really weird, man, isn't it? That is a strange misstep.
It sucks. I don't think it's on Apple. I think it's Adobe. They're just so they're so whatever with getting it updated for new systems, and Premiere Pro is notoriously buggy and all that sort of thing. The video I'm about to put out, hopefully on Monday, goes through all of that. So it's just like slow to react and stuff. And dude, if I was using Final Cut, which is Apple's program for it, it would be incredible. And you know, but I just don't use Final Cut.
Sure.
But yeah, man, it's honestly, it's been great. I've really enjoyed it. I'm like happy I went for it because I was very and ah. And now if you try and buy one, there's like a 3-month wait, which is just nuts.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only Apple product I think I've pretty much bought there and then. Like they did the announcement and it's like available, you know, you can buy it after this event at like 6 p.m. or whatever. And I was just looking on the website, it just came available. I was like, I'm just going to buy it because this is the computer I've wanted Apple to make for ages.
Sure, yeah. Like when you see it come along, yeah.
Yeah, literally that was it. It was like, you know, it doesn't come with keyboard, mouse or screen. I could just plug it into my current setup. It's good to go. And yeah, it's like I say, so far it's been great. I'm just hoping for Adobe to solve that issue of it and then I can move over to Mac. My long ambition for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now has been to like leave PC behind and just move to Mac.
Well, it's that sponsorship as well, mate. You know.
Yeah, it's that big money from Timmy.
It's that big Mac money, yeah.
But it's been really tough. There's not been a Mac which has kind of filled that gap, especially not when like you're used to building a PC or, you know, the value proposition on PC is still mental. Even with graphics cards how they are, you can get a much more powerful PC. But, you know, it's not a Mac. It doesn't have AirDrop. It doesn't have the Apple apps. It doesn't have the ecosystem if you're into it.
Yeah,
and
sure.
You know, for me, it's also content. You know, making Mac Studio videos is like going to be a big thing for me.
Another year.
Well, yeah, it will. And I can't really do that with PC stuff. You know, people are like, oh, you could make a video about a PC. It's like, yeah, I could, but you watch that flop on my channel. You know,
dude. I
know enough about YouTube now to know what to do and what not to do, and that is not what I would do.
As well, I mean, especially if you're talking, you know, once you've done like the... I'm sorry, mate, I'm going to try and get this out really quickly. I don't want to interrupt too long, but once you've done the kind of general videos about PC, like how to choose a monitor, how to, you know, like that kind of general stuff, you get so granular because then the videos would end up being what I think of this graphics card, you know, because it's so like, it's so varied. There's so many different flavors of PC, you know.
There's channels doing that way better than I ever could and all that sort of thing. And like my audience now is like, kind of in this Apple sort of area, Apple nebulous area, especially with iPad stuff. So moving to Mac Studio is like it seems like a move that those people will still be interested in.
Yeah, sure.
So if I just do an iPad video and then I switch to like, here's my new PC, like I'd say I probably lose 3/4 of the audience. But if I go, oh, here's the Mac Studio and this is how it's working with the iPad, it's like, I'll probably keep about 70% of that audience.
Yeah, sure.
So it just, it's from a financial point of view as well, you know, that's how I make my money now is through YouTube. So I've got to, you know, keep on top of the right
work.
Yeah. And like I say, I've been trying to move to Mac anyway. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. It's got some issues. There you go. That's it.
Mate, monetizing creativity is what the podcast has always... never been about, but you know what I mean? It's been an undercurrent.
So it's always dreamed of.
Yeah. Mate, it's when you start really ringing it and we end up with like, here's 10 minutes of just the fan noise off the Mac Studio.
You'd be surprised the amount of people that probably would be interested in that.
Yeah.
The amount of comments people have left on like the video saying...
With a lo-fi beat to start with and a nice chilled out introduction from your narrator. Yeah.
You never know.
I've had my Mac Studio for 12 months now and I've run out of everything else to talk about.
I've got nothing left to say.
Oh man, April Fool's Day's gone again. Oh man, I know you don't want to and never will, but I've got so many good ideas for April Fool's videos for your YouTube channel.
Dude, it's one of those things I'd always love to do, but then by the time it comes around, it's like, oh, it's too late.
Yeah. That's the trouble is you think of them on April Fool's Day. It's like, oh, I'm not putting out now.
Yeah, need to think about it way before. But I can't think of anything more to say about it. It's kind of got it all. SD card reader on the front as well. For someone like me, you know, I put in the SD card reader into my computer like 5 times a day.
Yeah.
So not having to do that at the back with a dongle, which sounds stupid, is a relief. So I just don't have to even think about it. And if you put the dongle in a different computer, then it's like, oh, I've got to go find that. Sometimes I leave it downstairs. It's like, I
mean, dude. So now that the podcast is wrapping up, now that people won't be coming here, obviously for their most regular dose of Tom content. Tomtent. Did we ever come up with that before?
No, I don't like it.
No, Tom doesn't. Tom definitely not. Should people still be following like the YouTube channel? Is that that's going to be the best place to find what you're up to, right?
Definitely, mate. I'd say there and Instagram is the place to go now. Because I didn't come on it, and like I'm sure a lot of people will roll their eyes while I talk about this, but the Instagram is like blown up for me recently. So sure. I was on, I think 2 weeks ago, I was on like 15,000 followers, and I'm on nearly 30K now.
Wow, yeah. So that's a bit of a jump.
Bit of a jump, doing a lot of Instagram Reels. I just had one hit 3 million plays, which is a lot.
Jesus, that is a lot.
Yeah, it's mad. So I'm just kind of following that route. So yeah, if you're an Instagrammer, then go to Instagram, follow me on there. But YouTube's still the main one. That's where I'm like, 85% of my efforts is with YouTube.
Yeah, and if you like Mac Studio content, have we got a year for you?
Just subscribe up, buckle in,
because
we got a lot. No, there, and obviously me and Rachel are still pushing with Kroku a lot. That's doing quite nicely at the moment. So
sure. Well, mate, for one last time, there will be links in the. Links in the show notes.
What about you though, Ben? What is next for Ben? What are you doing in a creative sense?
In terms of stuff that people will be interested in, I'm going to try and squeeze out some more recording this year.
Nice.
It is, mate. I was saying this to Claire the other day. I don't feel like I'm doing much like properly at the moment.
Yeah.
Because of the baby coming along.
You're busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Busy man.
So I know life changes and you can try and make it not change, what have you. But there is less time to like get stuck in and spend like 6 hours sorting out compression on a guitar, like getting real deep into something. There's less time to do that for sure. But that's kind of, I don't know, just it's what I wanted and what I expected, because I also wanted to have a kid.
Dude,
so
I'd say your last EP you put out, your little thing, which was, it must be about a year ago now.
Mate, it would be a year and a half-ish.
Yeah. Dude, I thought it was very successful. I think you should,
thanks,
if you're going to do another EP, if you follow that sort of route that you were before, I think it pulled off.
Yeah.
It's a nice one to add to the Ben Brewer collection, I would say. Like it holds up with everything else you've done. I mean that in a nice way.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't mean like,
it's as good as anything else you've ever done. Yeah.
I don't mean it's like, he's recorded that in his bedroom. You can really tell. It's this is an actual Ben release, and it was cool. I enjoyed it.
Well, I got a couple of plans for this year, man. I mean, it depends on what I end up using the time I do have for. But there's a couple of I got a couple of ideas. There's always projects in the works. Always
something on the go. Yeah.
But there's going to be it's going to be an EP of some kind. It'll either be I'm thinking I might do a kind of like a little callback to an old release. Yeah, I won't say too much more. But yeah,
I won't say much more.
Yeah, or I've got something that's brewing away that might be a new EP. Who knows, mate?
Here's my question for you: are you going to re-record the Interesting Thing theme tune in a minor key to sell out the podcast?
I mean, what I might do is...
no.
But if I'd have thought about it, then yeah, I could have done, yeah. But what I might do is I might play us out with it at like, just a shade off the speed, just slow it down slightly so it feels a bit more final. Yeah, I'll play us out with that, yeah.
Maybe with an orchestra accompaniment, just...
A few strings, yeah.
Yeah, a few strings. Really.
Oh, mate,
really
maybe I will. Maybe I'll see if I can do that.
On acoustic, minor key, get some strings, some sad strings in the background.
Yeah, dude. Mate, I'm. Like I say, I think this podcast has come to its natural conclusion. I will miss it. I will miss a little bit of this.
Yeah, man, me too. It's always been nice. I always look forward to them. Yeah. Like I don't ever think like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like I think, like you pointed out, man, it's going to be nice to go back to me and you just be able to hang out. Like we always joke about, like for an hour before recording. You know, it'd be nice to go back to actually hanging out and doing real life stuff without having to worry about getting audition work in.
Yeah. Maybe even have a beer or something.
Yeah, you never know, mate. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be nice. I
Not quite
think
the same.
Is this it?
Is this the end?
I think it might be.
Oh my God.
As is tradition, I'm leaving like one or two things on the list just unsaid. We'll save them for next time, mate.
Save those for next time.
This is not a hiatus. We are stopping doing it.
Quickly, Moon Knight. That's that.
Moon Knight, yeah, Moon Knight. It's all right. Yeah, 3 episodes in at the time of recording. So
I haven't watched it, but I would like to. There you go.
It's all right.
That's my final thoughts.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac doing a British accent is not the best thing I've ever seen in the world.
No.
But maybe it's deliberate. Anyway, who knows? Tom, it's been a pleasure, mate.
It's been fun.
And like we always say, interesting things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are any final farewells for Randy? I feel like he's been. Was he the real patron saint of this podcast?
I
don't think so.
I think not.
No.
Definitely. Well, definitely not. But
I would never use the end of a podcast to call someone out. But
but he's definitely
Randy,
not. Yeah, sorry.
Time's up, buddy.
Let that be the last thing.
Yes. Goodbye,
Tom. I'll see you soon.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Interesting things said by uninteresting people. Show hosted by Ben and Tom. Interesting things said by uninteresting people.